शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter number 13, verse 39. Sri Maitreya is explaining how Lord Varahadev lifted the earth from the Garbhodak ocean, and when he was lifting the ocean, then Hiranyaksha came and created an obstruction, and there was a fight which will be described later on. Here he only said that he just killed him, but there will be a great longer description of the actual fight, what went around between two of them, abusing and hitting each other, because fight starts with abusing. Before you slap somebody, you abuse that person, and you slap. So that detail will come later on. Here he just said that he killed him, and then the sages who were also witnessing this, they started glorifying. It's like they have these wrestling matches or boxing matches. A lot of people watch it when the bout is going on, and they're cheering, and whenever someone wins, then he's glorified. Everybody cheers him up, applauds. So the sages, they were applauding the Lord. And the previous few verses we read how his body represents the sacrifice, and the mantras, and the various instruments or pots and ladles, and the ghee which is needed for performing the sacrifice. So in the Vedic philosophy, we have 6 systems, as you know, Sardarshana, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga, Sankhya, Purvamimamsa and Vedanta. Now Purvamimamsa and Vedanta, they are based on the Vedic statements, especially the Upanishads and Brahmana, Aranyaka. So these two philosophies, one is called Purvamimamsa or the earlier deliberation, and then there is the Uttarmimamsa, the later deliberation or conclusion. So Purvamimamsa deals with the sacrifices, and Purvamimamsa says that the purpose or the essence of the Vedas is to perform prescribed duties, which primarily means doing sacrifices, like Agnihotra sacrifice. And we read that there are two types of sacrifice, in which there is soma and in which there is no extraction of soma. There are yagyas and there are kratus. So yagya is without the soma and kratu is with the soma. So, and according to them, that's all Vedas are talking about. And purpose of all Vedic statements, which are of 5 types: Vidhi, Nished, Arthavad, Namdheya. So these statements, they all refer to Vedic injunctions to perform sacrifice. That is their analysis. But the Vedanta says that the purpose of doing sacrifice and then going to heaven, that does not give the ultimate intention of the Veda. The ultimate intention of Veda is to realize God. So that is being mentioned in this verse. There is a reference to Purvamimamsa and there is a reference to Uttarmimamsa or Vedanta. It says, Namo Namaste Akhil Mantra Devata Dravyaya Sarvakratve Kriyatmane Vairagya Bhakti Atma Jaya Anubhavita Jnanaya Vidya Guruve Namo Namaha. So first they say that Namo Namaste, that we pay our obeisances to you, and you are the personification of all the mantras, all the devatas and all the ingredients. So there are 3 things which are needed to do a sacrifice, or 3 things. One is that you need ingredients, then there are deities to whom the ingredients are offered, and then there are mantras by which the offering is made. So a sacrifice means Devata Uddesena Mantrena Dravya Tyagi. In brief, a sacrifice means offering ingredients with the intention to please a Devata or a particular deity by chanting of the mantra. And mantra is the form of the deity. In Purvamimamsa, they don't accept that deities have any particular form. They say that mantra itself is the form of the Devata, Mantratmaka. So Lord here is personification of all this. He is not a bore, as we are talking about. He is personification of all this. So all the mantras are in his body, all the dravyas are in his body, and all the devatas, deities, they are all in his body. So that means, and all the sacrifices, sarva kratave, kratu means the sacrifices, they are also in his body. And kriyatmane, and all the activity, because the sacrifice has to be performed by a yajaman, the sacrificer. So all these activities, what he has to do, they are also in the body of the Lord. So he is the complete personification for doing the sacrifice. So that's why he is called Yajna Murti. So this, he says that we are paying obeisances to you. Namo Namaste. And when you have too much respect, then you repeat the word Namo Namo. You say once Namo, paying obeisances, but if you say twice, means it is more respectful. But then in the next verse, he talks about something beyond sacrifice. It says, Vairagya Bhakti Atma Jayanubhavit Jnanaya Vidya Guruve Namo Namo. Again Namo Namo. So 2 times obeisances is paid. One is obeisances paid to Lord as personification of sacrifice, which is related with Purmimans. And in the second, he is called knowledge or personification of knowledge, which comes by bhakti based on vairagya. So vairagya bhakti atma jayanubhavit jnanaya. That person becomes renounced. Why there is Purmimansa? Purmimansa exists because most people have material desires. It is very rare to find somebody in this world who does not have material desire. And now we want to fulfill our material desires by earning money, because everything is available by money now. In the olden days, when money was not so popular, and even money was, if it was popular, she was also considered as wife of Vishnu, Lakshmi. So in the olden days, everything was related with God or religion. That if you want something, you have to become religious. Now if you want something, you have to become rich. Then you can get. So in the old system, which is the Vedic system, if you wanted to fulfill any desire, even if you want to become rich, then the system was not to do business and then become rich. System was that you worship God and you will become rich. And it's very difficult to understand this. How can you become rich by worshipping? Rather, by worshipping you are going to lose money. Because you have to do sacrifice, you have to pay to the priest, you have to offer oblations and get all these ingredients. But they say that by doing this, you will get wealth if you want to become rich. So there are sacrifices for fulfilling desires. Now, like now, you fulfill your desires by getting various types of gadgets. You want to listen music, or you want to go somewhere, you want a nice car or travel. So in the olden days in India, the way to get your desire fulfilled was that to perform a particular sacrifice. And then you are blessed, and then you get your desire fulfilled.
What is gadget for?
Gadget is just like you have this camera. It's called a gadget. All these instruments. So that is Purmimansa. But all these things do not make us satisfied. And that is also people's experience. You get money, you buy the gadget or instrument or whatever you want, then still you are not happy. You want something else. So the system of Purmimansa was that you go on doing these sacrifices, one day you will become renounced. You will come to realize that actually these sacrifices don't make me happy, and the only way I can become happy is by becoming self-realized or God-realized. So that's how you, by following Purmimansa, you ultimately become renounced in Purmimansa and you come to Vedanta. That was the system. In the modern system, the second part is missing. You make money and you try to fulfill your desire and you never get vairagya from this. You never think that now let me stop this and I study Vedanta. You remain caught in this. Because in Purva Mimamsa, it is based on Vedas, and when they do sacrifice, they also hear the mantras, they hear stories, they hear some katha. And then they understand that actually there is something higher than this. So that's why here the first thing which is stated is vairagya. That when you get vairagya from the previous thing, then you come to the higher platform. So you cannot go to the higher platform without giving up the lower platform. Right? And you will give up lower platform only when you develop vairagya, renunciation, dispassion for that. So that's why dispassion is necessary to come to bhakti. Some dispassion is needed to at least enter into the room. You have to leave your room. You cannot say, well, I will keep sitting in my room and I will also enter in your room. So one has to give up this, and giving up is only possible when you lose faith in it and you develop faith in something else. So then when one comes to vairagya and then performs bhakti, and by the help of vairagya and bhakti, one has Atma Jaya, one controls one's senses. In Purvamimamsa, one tries to gratify the senses. And of course, to gratify senses also one has to control them. Because to do the sacrifice, you need to perform activities in a particular manner, which means control. You have to fast, you have to get the ingredients, you have to get up at a particular time, so many things. So it is all actually a training. Purvamimamsa is a training to come to Uttaramimamsa. A person who has followed Purvamimamsa can be a very good Uttarmimamsaka or Vedanti, because his mind is trained now to follow. He will be obedient to the rule. So it says Atma Jaya, and when you will have sense control, then Anubhavit Jnana. Then by that you will get realization. Superior realization come only when we become free from sense gratification. If our mind and senses are steeped in sense pleasures, we cannot realize the higher reality. And that's why we read this verse, Durdarshan, that Lord cannot be seen. Duskritatmanam Durdarshanam Deva. That you cannot be seen by duskritis, or people who are engaged in just pleasing their senses. They cannot see God. That's why they say there is no God. It is natural. These two are just contrary to each other. So this is the reason that in every spiritual life some restraint is prescribed. It's not that you can do whatever you like and also become God realized. So vairagya, bhaktya, and of course renunciation itself is not sufficient. And there has to be bhakti, there has to be devotion. And that is the essence of all Vedic scriptures, coming to the level of devotion or love of God. And naturally there is sense control. When you become devoted to somebody, then you have to control your senses. It's not that you are devoted to somebody and then you say, well, I'm going out to some party and you can cook your own dinner and have it. And if you are devoted, then you will not go to the party, you will cook the dinner and feed the person. That is the meaning of devotion. So then there is a sense control, Atma Jaya, you become controlled. So there are two ways to control. One is that you practice sense control, and other is you practice devotion. When you practice devotion, then sense control is a side effect of that. That is the outcome. That's what is said here, that Atmajaya. And when there is sense control and along with the devotion, then there is realization. Then you can see things as they are. Then your senses become purified. So just like when our eyes are having some disease or some defect, we cannot see things properly. But if we cure them by putting some eye drops, then we can see the objects as they are. So similarly, at present our mind, our senses, they are impure because they have been used only for sense gratification, independent of God. When we start practicing devotion, then they become purified. And then you start seeing another reality. And you start seeing God in everything. God is existing everywhere, but we do not see it because of our impurity. So then you start seeing, you get another vision. So that is the meaning of Anubhavit Jnana. And then you have Jnana, you have realization. So that Jnana is about the Lord. So this is the another side of the Lord. Now he is not a bore or anything like that. Now he is the Supreme Person. Therefore it says Vidya Gurave. Now he is the Guru who gives knowledge. And this knowledge is the knowledge of the Upanishads. Previously the knowledge was about the knowledge related with sacrifices. Knowledge coming from the Brahmanas, from the Samhitas, the earlier part of the Vedas. And this is Vedanta Vidya. So this knowledge comes from him. God is the source of spiritual knowledge. Human beings cannot understand anything about spiritual knowledge without God revealing it to them. That's why it is called revealed knowledge. Because our senses, as we've been studying in Sankhya, they have a limited range of perceiving things. They cannot understand anything spiritual. 5 senses and 6th mind, they're all material. And being material, they function only in the material realm. So paranchi khani vyatranat swayambhu parang pashyati na antaratma. Brahma designed our senses to function in the field of matter. Parang pashyati na antaratma. Therefore they don't see the spirit, the soul, because they are not designed. Kaschit dhira pratyag atmanam akshat. But somebody who dhira, which means a purified person with sense control, he can see. That means the same senses now can develop the power. Avritta chakshu, his eyes are like open. So that is the process described here. So that happens when one gets knowledge from God. Yameva esha gunata teneva vedya. So therefore Lord is called here as Vidya Guru. Guru who gives transcendental knowledge. Not ordinary Guru, but Guru who gives spiritual. So God is the ultimate Guru. And it is for this reason that a Guru who gives spiritual knowledge is treated like God. Because he is actually doing the function which God does. See the reason. So Vidya Guruve Namo Namah. So again our all senses to Vidya Guru. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he comments, Uktartham samasena stuvanaha pranamanti. Whatever was said before, now they are summarizing it in this verse. And they say Namo Nama. That all senses. Kriyatmane yagyadi vyapara rupaya. Lord is called here, one word is used for his Kriyatmana, because he is the personification of all the activities performed in a sacrifice. यद्यपि एवं त्वं लीलया कर्म मार्ग प्रवर्तकत्वेन सर्व कारण मूर्ति रसी. So he says that although you are like this, as described, personification of all these sacrifices, and that is the karma marga, the path of karma, and you are the cause of everything. But he says tadapi, yet कर्म फल स्पृहा रहितया भक्त्या एव तव अनुभवो भवेत् इत्याह. But you can be realized only when you have give up the desire for the fruits of your actions. Then only with devotion one can realize Lord. So therefore Vairagya and Bhakti. Vairagya means not desiring to enjoy the fruits of your activities, therefore not engaging in any fruitive activity. And Bhakti means being devoted to God. Then one can realize God. Vairagyam drishta adrishta karma phala spriha rahityam. So what is the meaning of Vairagya? He says being devoid of desire for the fruit of any action which is drishta or adrishta. There are two types of fruits you get. One is the drishta phala and other is adrishta phala. One is the fruit which is visible, which is what people are doing now. You do work and you want the fruit immediately. And there are also activities you can perform where you don't see the fruit now. Like you do charity and then you say, well, then you will get some benefit in next life. This gives you piety. So that is called adrishta. It's not that your action is going waste, but the fruit is not coming immediately. It will come later in the next life or some other future lives. So some people are working, those who are materialistic people, they are working either for drishtaphala, visible result, or for adrishtaphala, invisible result. So some people are trying to get the result now, and some people do some religious act, charitable act, thinking that they will get something in heaven or next life or whatever. So this is another materialistic activity. So to give up both of them, not desiring the result of both of these activities, and that itself is not enough. It's not that by giving that up you will become a spiritual person. You also have to have bhakti. Without bhakti there is no spirituality. So endowed with this tadyukta ya bhakti. So having devotion along with this type of vairagya or renunciation, taya eva atmano manso jaya. Then only it is possible to control your mind. Otherwise it is not possible to control the mind. You sit down and try to control your mind, and then you see what happens. So both are needed, vairagya and bhakti. Then mind will become your disciple. Now mind is your boss. It's always bossing over you. And you have to do the bidding. So we have to change the situation. The boss has to make the servant, and the servant has to become the boss. That is the whole game of spiritual life, making your boss as your servant. So this is a tough job, but it is possible through bhakti. So then you have manso jaya, control or victory over the mind. And when you have conquered over your mind, then you are the king. Tena anubhavitam sakshatkritam jnanam savishekam. So then you will realize knowledge in relationship to God. Then you will understand how God is working, where He is, what is He doing, and what He eats for dinner. So He says we pay our obeisances to Him, and He is also called Vidya Guru, Ateva Vidya Guruve. Why is He called Vidya Guru? Because only He is able to give us this knowledge. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Apyantate. So, those who are continuously worshipping God, Krishna, surrendered and devoted to Him, then Krishna says that to such people I give Buddhi Yoga, I give them the necessary intelligence, inspiration by which they come to me. Iti tvaduktes tvat prapkam jnanam tvameva datum arhasi. So it is only God who can show you the way how to reach Him. Nobody else. Only He has the power to bring you to Him. Nobody else knows where He is and how to reach Him. You don't know His email address or telephone number, but He can reveal it to you. He says, I give. Just like big people, they don't want to give their mobile number to everybody, right? They don't want to give even their email to somebody. They keep it secret. So God also has a mobile number. You can talk to Him, but He does not give it to you unless you come close to Him and you prove yourself that you will not misuse this. Otherwise you will start bothering Him and disturb Him. So that's why Vairagya is necessary, because if your mind is full of material desires and you get the mobile number of God and all the time you will call Him that give me this, give me that. He will become your order supplier. So first condition therefore is Vairagya. This is God is intelligent, He knows. So He gives you the telephone number when you convince Him that I am not going to ask you anything. That's why He says that drishta adrishta karma phala spriha rahityam, that becoming absolutely free from the desire of any fruit of visible or invisible type. Visible fruit or invisible fruit. All. And not only desire, but the very desire. You don't even have the desire for this. Then He says, okay, I can give you now. So this is the way to reach God.
Desire to serve is okay, yes.
He did not say that. He says bhakti. What is bhakti?
Serving.
Yes, he said it. That with bhakti. First you have to become free from any desire of visible, drishta or adrishta, and have bhakti. So bhakti is the positive thing, and the other is the negative.
So surrender.
So then God says that I give him the proper inspiration, proper process, proper knowledge, how to reach me, how to contact me. So this is the process which is described here. Then they said, Danstragra kotya bhagavan stvaya dhrita virajate bhudhara bhusa bhudhara yathavananya sritodata dhrita mattang gajendrasya sapatra padmini. So now they are describing is more describing the beauty, how the Lord is appearing at that time. He says that, O Lord, O the uplifter of the earth, Bhudhara, you are holding the earth at the end of your tusk, and you are looking very beautiful. The earth along with the mountains. Bhudhara, Sabhudhara. Bhudhara means uplifter of the earth, and Bhudhara is also a word for mountain. So Sabhudhara means the earth along with the mountains. And then he is describing how he is appearing. How beautiful. He says, Yatha vanat nisrato datadhrita matangajendrasya sapatra padmini. He says, you are appearing as if an elephant has come out of the water from a lake. And elephants like to take bath in a lake. And if there is a lotus flower, they also like to break it. Because if you have seen, their tusk is always moving. If you see an elephant may be standing, but the tusk is always moving. I mean this trunk, not the tusk. Their tusk is never stable. It's going up and down and this way and that way and always throwing the air. And if there is something nearby, they want to hold it with their trunk. Because this is their hand. It's like we have hand. Elephant has, this trunk is the hand of the elephant. He has 4 legs and 1 hand. That's why in Sanskrit, elephant is called Hasti. Hasti means one who has a hasta. Hasta means hand. So he likes to catch things with this. So he was appearing as if an elephant had just come out from a lake and holding a lotus flower along with the leaves in his trunk. So that's how he was appearing. This is being described. So he says, Aho prithivya bhagyam yam tvam dhatse iti tam varnayati danstrayati. So they're saying that look at the fortune of earth. How fortunate she is that she is taking a ride on the tusk of Lord Varahadev. We are only standing and praying from far, but she is just being held by him. So she is very fortunate, and therefore they are praying. Hey Bhudhara, Sa Bhudhara, Sa Parvata. You are the uplifter of earth, lifting the earth along with the mountains. Vanat, Jalat. The word Vana means forest. It also means water. So it can mean both. Vanat Nisharto Datadhrita. It can mean elephant which is coming out of water. It can also mean elephant which is coming out of a forest. Sapatra Padmaniti Tasya Kora Kudmaladivhir Uch Nicha Parvata Upmita. So when it is described that he is holding a lotus flower along with leaves, so he says that this means earth along with its various mountains, high and low, they appear like leaves, and earth is like a lotus flower. That is the significance. Then he says that Traimayam Rupamidam cha Saukaram Bhumandalenatha Datadhritena te Chakaste Sringodhana Ghanena Bhuyasa Kula Chalendrasya Yatheva Vibhrama. So further they are describing, he says that you are appearing just like Kulachalandra in the mountain, as if there is a cloud hanging on top of this mountain, on the peak of the mountain. Sringa Odha Ghanena. And the mountain and it has its peak, and on the peak there is a cloud. Sometimes you see the clouds hanging on the peak of the mountain. So he says that your form, this is Traimayam. It is personification of the three Vedas. And now you are holding the Bhumandala, the whole planet, Earth planetary system, by your tusk, and therefore you are appearing very beautiful. So just like cloud hanging. So Earth is being compared to a cloud now. Maybe it was appearing dark in color because of the mountains, and I don't know if there were any trees at that time, but at least mountains are there. So yatha tvaya swamina dhritaha bhu sobate tatha bhuvapi swabhaktya dhritastvam sobhase ityahu. So this verse is describing that the earth is looking beautiful because she is being held by Varahadev, who is the master of earth, and he is also looking beautiful because he is holding the earth. So as if they both are adding to each other's beauty, like husband and wife. So if they walk together dressed nicely, then they are ornament to each other. So earth is also considered as the wife of Varahadev. So as if he is holding the wife up in the air, and she is appearing very beautiful, and he is also looking beautiful because of her presence. कुलाचलेन्द्रस्य महापर्वतस्य श्रृंगेण ऊढो धृतयो घनो मेघस्तेन विभ्रमो शोभयतः. Just as mountain looks nice, if you see a mountain from far, some high mountain peaks and then there are clouds, it looks very beautiful. And sometimes the sun is setting and the mountains look very colorful. So that is the beauty being described. संस्थापेनां जगतां सतस्थुषां लोकाय पत्नीं असि मातरं पिता विधेम चास्यैनं सा सह त्वया यस्यां स्वतेजोऽग्निमिवारणावधः. So now they are praying that you please place this earth, which is the support for all movable and immovable living beings. So there are plants and trees which do not move, and then other species of life. Earth is supplying food for all of them. Now, of course, in today's newspaper, there was a statement that we need 1.4 earth to support the lifestyle of the people living now on earth. This one earth is not sufficient. The way we are living now, the way we are consuming, and by 2050 we will need 2 earths. So we have to pray to Varahadev to get one more and shift half the population there. You can start your booking now. Or we have to cut the carbon footprint. There are only 2 possibilities.
Cut what?
Carbon footprint.
What is that?
You can tell the
It's
carbon.
a carbon, like a duplicate or something.
No, we are consuming too much fossil fuels and all these things and creating carbon.
No.
That is called carbon footprint.
Carbon footprint.
It's a technical word. And we have to reduce that if we want to survive on this earth.
Reduce the consumption.
Hmm?
Reduce the consumption.
Yes. That is possible if you have some vairagya.
Yeah.
So this vairagya is necessary now. Anyway. And if you don't want to realize God even for survival, some vairagya is needed. Philosophy is becoming more and more practical now. So they are having this meeting in Copenhagen, and to make some laws and principles so that all the countries have to reduce the use of objects which are releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. But who is going to do that? Because there is demand and all the economy is dependent on consumerism.
Yeah.
So they will talk and come back. And in the meantime, they have created a lot of carbon dioxide by flying.
Yes.
And they're all living in these big hotels and creating pollution. They should live in the huts.
You need to remember how to fly like the yogis.
That will not happen, but at least they can take a train. So they are saying that earth is the support of all living beings. Satasthusam lokaya patnimasi, and she is like your wife, and therefore she is our mother, and you are the father. Mataram pita. So Lord is the father and earth is the mother. So therefore in India we call earth as mother, Prithvi Mata. It was a custom previously in India that when you wake up in the morning, first thing is that you pray to the earth before you put your feet on the ground. Then you pray to the earth, and the prayer is that, O Mother, Samudra, what is that? Samudra Vasune Devi, that the ocean is like your sari going around you, and mountains are like your breasts, and I am going to put my feet on you. Padasparsa Chamaswami, please forgive me for that. I don't remember the complete sloka. So this was the sloka people used to recite before they put their feet on the ground. Now of course we are living in a higher floor, 37th floor, so we don't touch the ground anyway. We are in the air. But we were taught like this, that earth is mother, and you have to give respect to that. First thing you do is that you give respect to the earth. Padasparsha Chamaswame. So here also they are saying that, the sages are saying that she is our mother, and therefore we are paying our obeisances to you along with her, to both of you, like you are our parents. Because Mother Earth is supplying all our needs. Whatever you need, the food and cloth and everything, all this is coming from earth. And just as mother gives us food when a child is born, it is mother which supports the child. Earth is supporting us. So if we don't take care of the mother, then we have to suffer. So vidhema chasya namsa sahatvaya yasyam swatejo agnimiva aranayadha. So he says, you please place her and you put your energy into her, because earth functions by the power of the Lord. Just like he says, swatejo agnim iva arano. Arani is a type of wood which was used earlier days to generate fire for the sacrifice. Now we have matchboxes, but in the earlier days there were no matchboxes. So fire was produced by churning wood, special type of wood, and it was made in a particular way. There was the lower piece and the higher piece, and you churn it and also chant mantras. Then the fire was generated, and that fire was used for doing the sacrifice. So like that, just as the power of mantra goes into the arani, swatejo agnimiva aranu, this fire is inside the arani wood. In the same way, he says that you put your power into the earth and place him. Kim yusmakam abhipsitam tad brute iti chet. So as if Lord is asking a question to them when they are praying. He says, what do you want? Why not speak that clearly? Because if you are praying to me you are speaking all these verses, you must need something from me. Nobody goes and praises somebody like that. When you want something from somebody, then you praise that person. When the husband comes home and wife wants something from the husband, then she will speak nice sweet words. And then she will say, well, I have to go for shopping. So the Lord already knows this. So he is asking, what do you want? Just say that. Kim abhipsitam tad bruta. So they are saying that we don't want anything. We just want that you place this sansthape, place the earth in its proper place, lokaya vasasthanartham, so that people get a place to live. Te patnim jagatam matram yatastvam pitasi. She is your wife and she is the mother of the whole universe because you are the father. Atastvaya pitrasaha asyai matre namsa vidhini. Therefore we are giving our obeisances, our respects to her along with the father. Swatejaha dharan shaktim tvam adha dhritvanasi. And you have the power to uphold the earth, so you give that power. Arnav agnim yagika yatha dharayanti. Just as the people who are performing sacrifice, they put fire into the arni, this wood. So this is the way they are praying to the Lord. So finally what they really want is that earth is placed so that creation can continue. Well, this is what Manu was looking for, this is what Brahma was looking for. This is how Brahma started praying to the Lord and Varaha appeared from his nostril. So now they are speaking their heart to Varahadev, which he has already done, but they are saying that you are holding the earth, but don't run away with her. No place her. So that everybody can survive on the earth. So if there is any question.
It says put the earth on water. So, but we don't see the earth floating on water.
Well, you don't see the earth floating in water, but this is related with the story which will come later on. Because when he was bringing it up, that's when the demon comes to fight. And Lord will place the earth on the water and put his energy into it so that it can hold it. And then he fights. So it's basically a summary of what is coming.
So that's not the final parking place of the earth?
No, it's not the final parking place.
Back on.
This is in between.
So by saying that he puts his Shakti into the earth so that it can float on the water, that means his Adhara Shakti.
Right.
Can you describe more what it means, purification of the senses? Because that phrase is used a lot, I need to purify my senses. But as we're hearing, it's through, by Sankhya, it's through knowledge that one gains. Can you please describe purification of the senses?
Purification means engaging them in the service of God. At present, our senses are only engaged in sense gratification. And they have liking and disliking. Indriyasya indriyasya arthe raga dvesa vyavastita. Tayor neva samagachet tauhiyas paripanthina. Every sense has its like and dislike, and we are being controlled by that like and dislike. You walk on the street, then you smell some cake just cooked, or baked now and the smell is coming and then immediately you want to eat because you are under the control of your tongue. So this is the impurity. You don't need to eat because you just had your lunch, your stomach is full, but now cake you cannot resist. So that is the impurity. That is it, because it is raga. It's not attachment, it's liking, it's passion. Or you are addicted to smoking or something like that. And as soon as you get some smell of the smoke, then immediately you want to smoke. So this is the impurity. Because impurity means you are under their control. And purity means getting out of their control. They becoming under your control. You becoming the master of them. So that's why Krishna says that Tayura Vasam na gachet. Don't come under their Vasam, their control. Tauhi Paripanthina, because these two are the obstacles, this Rag and Dvesha, in the spiritual path. Tayorne Vasam agachet. So that is the meaning of purification.
You said that in order to have a sacrifice, three things are needed. The object, the
Deity and
the
mantra.
deity and the mantra. So then, but then you said that the mantra itself is the deity.
That is Purmimansa.
In Purmimansa, they don't accept like a form of the Lord. The mantras are the Lord itself.
It's about the
So
sound.
then
Sound
there are only two
vibration, isn't it?
things needed.
Yeah, but mantra is mantra, and mantra signifies the deity. So the name of the deity is also there.
Oh, okay.
When you say Indra,
Indra is a person. Is
so
a
Indra is the name,
Yeah.
and he is a devata.
Okay.
But where does he exist? Only in the mantra. That's what that's.
Oh, they don't separate the Indra, the person, with his place and whatever. He's
Mm.
already existing in the mantra. Mm.
Okay. I want to go back to the question. You've described the impurity of the senses. What is the energy, what is the way that these senses are purified?
By doing devotional service. So then they come under the control. That's what it says, that Vairagya, Bhaktya, Atmajaya, Anubhavit, Jnanaya. No, Jnana is the outcome. But he says that Atmajaya, or the control,
Yes.
will come by Bhakti based on Vairagya. So Bhakti means service, devotional service. So that will bring control, and control is purification. Because being under their control is impurity.
And you're saying that this control is comes about by the power or the depth of one's
Devotion. Yes.
Now to say I'm doing devotion to purify my senses is another impurity, right? Because it's not a pure motivation.
Well, here, yeah, we don't, purify your senses, and then for what is the reason you want to purify them? If again your purpose is that you want to do service with them, then it's alright. But again you want to purify and then do what with them?
So actually this is one principle by which you achieve two objects, like you purify the senses at the same time, but you're also pleasing Krishna.
Purification is the side effect. That is not the goal. It's like if you go from here to see Radharaman temple, on the way there is a garden. So you also get nice breeze and fragrance. But that is not the purpose. It happens, you have to cross through it. So like that purification happens by doing devotion service. Automatically.
So
So
the
there is no need.
vairagya would be that if I go, make my way to the temple and I smell the nice cake and I tell myself, well, I have no time to get into this now because my goal is to reach the temple as quick as possible.
Yes.
Like to be faster when I get
Yeah, in the beginning you have to practice it, but later on vairagya is also outcome of bhakti. Janeti asu vairagyam jnanam cha dahitukam. So bhakti will create renunciation or vairagya naturally. But to begin with you need some. Because you have to at least unlatch yourself wherever you are to engage in bhakti.
Can this vairagya and purification of the senses take place independent of any jnana?
Independent of what?
Of jnana, of knowing that this is what's happening, this is the process. If I develop my bhakti, then I will, automatically my senses will become purified and like that. Somebody who just has a loving heart, just loves Krishna, doesn't know why, just wants to serve him and please him, and is just doing that, right? So
Yeah, so the vairagya will happen naturally, even if he is not planning for it. That is the meaning of side effect. If you go to the temple and you have to cross through the garden, the smell will come automatically. So vairagya, whether you know it, one is that you know that when I go through this path, I am going to get the smell or fragrance. But if you don't know, still it will happen.